Hello guys, I'm back with another video, and in this video we are going to continue the spooky story, The Haunted Dinosaur by Creepella Von Cacklefur. So let's begin. Today we are going to start from chapter 9. Shamli Rattenbaum slumped into a chair, exhausted from scampering home so quickly. The triplets surrounded him, worried looks on their snouts. "What happened, Grandpa?" Lily asked gently. "Are you okay?" Millie added. But Shamli just shook his head. He was still too breathless to squeak. Tilly approached with the tea tray. "Here is that cup of perfectly brewed moldy tea," she offered kindly. Shamli shook his head again and managed to squeak out a few syllables. "Remote control, huff, button, puff, Frankenstein." Lyrica Sonatel's record kept playing on the gramophone, but no one seemed to be listening. Lenny, Benny and Denny took turns trying to squeak with Shamli. "Where did you come from, Mr. Rattenbaum?" Lenny asked. "If you tell us," Benny continued, "we might be able to figure out what you're trying to say," finished Denny. Shamli took a deep breath. "Exhibit, dinos," he whispered, still gasping for breath. "Of course," Millie cried. "He went to the dinosaur exhibition." "How was the exhibition, Grandpa?" the triplets asked in unison. Rattenbaum didn't answer, but he looked terrified. He began to wave his arms frantically, pointing at the path he had taken to get home. Ziggy noticed something coming toward them, but he just turned back to the gramophone. No one ever listened to him anyway. "The spook, Shamli stammered. Lenny interrupted him. "Yes, we also want to see the Spookosaurus," he said patiently. "It's the main attraction," Benny continued. "They say it's absolutely bone-chilling," Denny concluded. Shamli finally had his squeak back. "The Spookosaurus is here!" he shouted, pointing wildly at the path leading up to the mansion. The other mice all turned to see the skeleton of a colossal dinosaur come bounding toward them. The beast was so moving its head and paws back and forth and snapping its claws to the beat of the music. Tap, 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 tap. It looked like the skeleton was dancing. If the Spookosaurus hadn't been so terrifying, it might have been funny to watch. But Lenny, Benny and Denny didn't find it amusing at all. "Run for your lives!" they shouted, scurrying as fast as their paws could carry them. "Don't leave us," the triplets replied. But the Wonderwormers had already hightailed it away. Chapter 10. "Put me down, bonehead." In their haste, the three brothers knocked over the little table with the tea tray, cups and week-old pastries. Ziggy dove after the sweets and gobbled them up in one gulp. Unfortunately, Lenny, Benny and Denny bumped into the unattended gramophone as well. The ancient contraption, Shamli Rattenbaum's pride and joy from his long-ago youth, smashed into tiny pieces. Crash, bang, clunk, boom! Lyrica's record flew off the gramophone, and as soon as the music stopped, the Spookosaurus went berserk. It bellowed angrily, shattering the few unbroken windows that remained in the Rattenbaum mansion. Roar! Petrified with fear, the triplets were unable to move, but Shamli Rattenbaum was suddenly filled with a protective instinct. He leaped from his chair and gallantly put himself between the Spookosaurus and his granddaughters like a furry shield. "Stop right there, you ugly beast," he squeaked. "Don't you dare put that horrid snout of yours any closer to my adorable granddaughters." The empty-eyed Spookosaurus just glared at Rattenbaum, looking more menacing than ever. Slowly, it moved its bony snout closer, stiffing the aristocrat from the end of his whiskers to the tip of his tail. "Yum!" the skeleton growled clearly. Then the Spookosaurus grabbed Rattenbaum by the collar of his tattered jacket and lifted him off the ground. "Put me down, bonehead," Shamli squeaked. "Put me down, right now." The sisters ran to help. Tilly and Lily grabbed the skeleton's tail, while Millie went after one of the prehistoric monster's leg. "Let go of our grandpa right now," they squeaked. The Spookosaurus nonchalantly wagged its tail, pushing Tilly and Lily aside. Then it shook its leg, dislodging Millie. Finally, the beast tucked Rattenbaum firmly under its armpit, trapping him securely. As Shamli was jostled around, a dozen or so small bones rained down. Not one to miss an opportunity for free food, Ziggy grabbed the bone and tried to gnaw it. Unfortunately, he found it too hard and threw it away, disappointed. Rattenbaum couldn't move a whisker. "I told you, put me down," he shrieked. "And your armpit stinks." The Spookosaurus just sneered and galloped down the path. In a few seconds, it had disappeared completely from sight. The triplets tried to follow, but the scampering skeleton was too fast. "Come back," Millie, Tilly, and Lily squeaked, but to no avail. The sound of a car horn behind them startled the sisters. They turned to see the Turbo Rapid 3000 pull up with Creepella and Geronimo inside. As soon as they saw the famous publisher, they ran toward the car, begging for help. "Help us, Geronimo! Please help!" Chapter 11. You are a genius, Grandpa. "The monster grabbed our grandfather," moaned Tilly, "and took him away," sobbed Millie. "Without looking back," whined Lily. Creepella sighed. "Let's try to remain calm," she said. "We'll help you." The rest of the Von Cacklefur family had just pulled up and they nodded in agreement. "Where did the Spookosaurus go?" Creepella asked the triplets. "We don't know," they whimpered through their tears. "He was moving faster than a freight train." Suddenly, 3 heads popped out from behind the trunk of a nearby tree. It was the Wanderwormer triplets. It was running toward the center of Gloomeria, they declared. "I saw it too," Grandpa Frankenstein agreed. He had just arrived on the scene. That ancient fossil was holding that little fool Rattenbaum tightly under his arm. "Grandpa," Creepella cried, "did you find a solution?" The professor chuckled. "It wasn't easy," he admitted. "I had to look through all the books in my laboratory and in the library at Cacklefur Castle, but I finally figured it out. To stop the Spookosaurus, we have to sing him the same lullaby we have been singing in our family for centuries. The Von Cacklefur family lullaby." "Well, rattle my bones," Creepella squeaked, hugging her grandfather. "You are a genius." But Geronimo was worried. "A lullaby?" he repeated. "But will it work forever? Won't the dinosaur just wake up again when the music stops?" "Actually, no, dear Geronimo," Grandfather Frankenstein replied. "The Von Cacklefur lullaby is extremely powerful. It makes monsters fall asleep forever." Meanwhile, Shiverine noticed Ziggy staring sadly at the broken gramophone. She went over to console the poor millipede, offering him sugar-coated mosquito eggs. Ziggy devoured them in a second and perked up instantly. He licked Shiverine's face in gratitude and chirped a thank you. Zig, zip, zig, zig, zerp. Shiverine smiled and went over to her aunt. "Ziggy just told me something that might be helpful," she explained. "He said the Spookosaurus really liked the music that was playing earlier." Ziggy said it looked like the dinosaur was dancing in perfect rhythm. Creepella breathed. "Awesome!" she exclaimed. "Then we are on the right track. If the Spookosaurus likes music, it will love the Von Cacklefur family lullaby." Problem solved! Problem solved? All the Von Cacklefurs repeated in unison. Geronimo was the only one who was still concerned. "What's solved?" he asked, worried. Creepella rolled her eyes. "Geronimo, do I have to explain everything?" she asked with a sigh. "The Spookosaurus likes music, so we just have to sing him the Von Cacklefur family lullaby. Then the dino will fall into a deep sleep that will last forever and Gloomeria will be saved. Got it?" But Geronimo wasn't convinced. "Do you really think this lullaby will work?" he asked, still skeptical. "Of course it will," Boris squeaked impatiently. "The Von Cacklefur family is full of great artists and this lullaby is a true masterpiece. Let me sing it to you. The Von Cacklefur family lullaby. Hush, little dino, don't give a roar. Here's your cozy bed in a tiny drawer. If that drawer's too full of stinky socks, You can always sleep in this broken box. If that broken box has too many nails, here's a gloomy tomb for your dino tail. If that gloomy tomb's too dank and musty, the kitchen pantry is just a little crusty. If the kitchen pantry smells of rotten oats, you can always sleep in the chilly moat. If the chilly moat makes you turn blue-lipped, we'll lock you up in the castle crypt. In the castle crypt, you'll sleep forever, thanks to this song so sweet and clever. Chapter 12. The honor is yours, Geronimo. Even the Rattenbombs were impressed. That sounds superbly morbid, the triplets exclaimed, clapping their paws. Now, the only thing left to do is find the Spookosaurus, jump on its back and sing the lullaby, exclaimed Creepella. Problem solved. The Von Cacklefurs cheered again. But Geronimo had a bad feeling. Why do we have to sing this lullaby? And why do we have to jump on the Spookosaurus' back? He asked nervously. Isn't it obvious? Creepella replied. Lullabies need to be sung softly, sweetly, and soothingly directly into an ear for them to work. But who's going to be courageous enough to jump on that scary skeleton's back? Geronimo asked, his whiskers twitching with fear. Oh, Geronimo, Creepella squeaked cozily. I knew you'd be brave enough to volunteer. The honor is all yours. The entire Von Cacklefur family approved. The honor is all yours, Geronimo, they cried in unison. The Rattenbomb triplets squeezed him in an enormous hug. You are our hero, they squeaked. The poor journalist fainted on the spot. When he woke, it was to the sound of Creepella's ringtone, a mournful funeral march. Dum dum da dum dum da dum da dum da dum. Hello, she answered. It was Mayor Chatterpose. Creepella, did you come up with a plan? The mayor asked frantically. Please hurry. The Spookosaurus is heading towards the city hall. Roar. Creepella heard the Spookosaurus in the background and hung up on the mayor immediately. We have to go to the city hall now, she squeaked as she jumped into the Turbo Rapid 3000. The rest of the Von Cacklefurs scrambled to follow. Spookosaurus, we're coming for you, they cried as they climbed into their vehicles and took off. Only this much for today, friends, and I had a lovely time reading to you. So stay tuned, and to get the latest video, which will be available soon, please subscribe to my channel. And the next video will complete this book, the whole. Thank you.